Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Type back in the video today, and today we're going to be doing my 2023-24 NBA power rankings for Week 5 of the NBA. So the Week 5 of the NBA is starting actually pretty soon, as it is 5:30 right now, and tip off for today, Monday's games are in about 45 minutes, or exactly 45 minutes. So that will be the start of today's games, which will start off Week 5 of the NBA. And let's go over my power rankings going into Week 5 of the NBA. So we're going to go from 30 to 1, starting off with, I know they don't have the worst record in basketball. They have the second worst record in basketball, but I think they're easily the most dysfunctional team in the NBA at 30, the Washington Wizards, who are 2-10. I had them at 30 last week. At 29, I have the 2-12 Pistons, who have lost 11 straight games after starting off 2-1. Last week, I had them at 28. I'm still giving them some, I'm not putting them at 30, number one, because the Wizards do look worse than them, and the Pistons have some injured players out. Bojan Bogdanovic has missed time throughout this losing streak. Jaden Ivey's missed some time throughout the losing streak. So has Isaiah Livers. Other players have missed time throughout the losing streak, but they still are playing awful basketball right now, and they are having games where they should win, and they're not winning. This is a team that is better than a 2-12 record. They're not a good team, but they are better than their record shows. At 28, I have the San Antonio Spurs. They have the worst losing streak in the NBA right now at eight losses. Or no, the Pistons do. My bad. But they have one of the worst losing streaks in the NBA right now with eight losses in a row, and they're at 3-10 now. Last week I had them at 24. At 27, I had the Blazers, who are 3-10, and they also have a big losing streak. They've lost their last 7. Last week I had them at 25. At 26, I have the Charlotte Hornets. They're 3-9. Last week I had them at 26. They'd stay at the same spot. 25 of the Grizzlies. They're 3-10. Last week I had them at 29. This is no particular reason for the jump for the Grizzlies. They are starting to play a little bit better basketball, and they're still without a lot of players. A lot of players are injured, and still some guys are stepping up and trying to get them some wins. But still, the big thing for me is all the teams that are I have the Grizzlies over, like the Hornets, the Blazers, the Spurs, the Pistons, and the Wizards. I all view the Grizzlies as a better team than all of those teams I just listed. But those are the only teams in the NBA I see better than the Grizzlies right now. At 24, I have the Utah Jazz. They're at 4-9, and last week I had them at 27. At 23, I have the Chicago Bulls. They're at 5-9. Last week I had them at 22. It's looking like everything's about to fall apart for the Bulls. It's going to be a fire sale for the Chicago Bulls. At 22, I have the Los Angeles Clippers. They're 4-7, and last week I had them at 23. The only reason I have them, going up one spot here, well, also they only played 2 games this week, and I really liked what I saw from the 2 games. So they beat the Rockets in a close game and were able to close out against a good Rockets team who's underrated and is one of the top defensive teams in the NBA right now. And they were able to close out against them, which was really good. And they won 106-100. And then the other game, they nearly beat the Denver Nuggets. They lost 111-108. So nearly beat the Nuggets in their only loss, and also beat the Rockets and closed out against a good defensive ball team in their other game. Got their first win with James Harden. At 21, I have the Raptors, who are 6-7. Last week I had them at 21. At 20, I have the Pelicans, who are 6-7. Last week had them at 20. So the Raptors and the Pelicans stay at the same spot there. At 19, I have the Brooklyn Nets, who are also 6-7. Last week I had them at 17. Keep in mind some guys are still out for the Brooklyn Nets. Ben Simmons, Cam Thomas. At 18, another really bad losing streak in the NBA right now, the Golden State Warriors. I never thought, going into last week that, last Monday, that I'd have the Warriors this low going into my next power rankings. But the Warriors are 6-8 now. Last week I had them at 6, and they have lost their last 6 games. And they're also without Draymond Green. But that was terrible. The suspension was definitely deserved, but that whole fight with Rudy Gobert was terrible. At 17, I have the Atlanta Hawks. They're 6-6, first 6-6 team in the power rankings. Or actually, I think the Hawks are the only 6-6 team in the NBA right now. But last week I had the Hawks at 13. At 16, I had the Houston Rockets. They're 6-5. Last week, I had them at 12. They only played 2 times since my last power rankings. So, and those are both, those are 2 really close losses to the Houston Rockets. Lost two really close losses to both Los Angeles teams. Lost by 1 point to the Lakers, 105-104, and lost by 6 points when in a game that with 10 seconds remaining was tied up at 100 against the Clippers. So, they played 2. Even though the Clippers are 4-7, they played 2 good teams who, which were on the road and only played 2 games last week and competed in both of them. Just couldn't finish at the end. At 15, I had the Phoenix Suns, who have won 3 in a row. Last week, I had them at 18. They're 7-6. At 14, I had the Pacers. They're 7-5. Last week, they were at 8. At 13, I have the Lakers. They're 8-6. Last week, they were at 17. Lakers have looked good this week. 12, I have the Magic, who are 8-5. Last week, I had them at 15. At 11, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are 7-6. Last week, I had them at 11. They stay at the same spot. At 10, I have the New York Knicks. They're 8-5. Last week, I had them at 14. At 9, I have the Dallas Mavericks. They're 9-5. Last week, I had them at 4. So Dallas takes a big drop here. And they didn't have that bad of a week. Just other teams were playing outstanding basketball. And then at 8, I have the Sacramento Kings. They're 8-4. Last week, they were at 19. At 7, I have the Miami Heat. They're 8-5. Last week, I had them at 10. Milwaukee Bucks are starting to get it together, starting to figure it out, and I got them at 6. They're 9-4, and last week I had them at 9. At 5, taking a drop. Didn't think that the reigning champions would take a drop here, but keep in mind they're still without Jamal Murray. At 5, I had the Denver Nuggets, who are 9-4. Last week I had them at 2. At 4, who has been outstanding, right? Who's playing outstanding basketball right now. At 4, I had the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're 10-4 and are the 2nd seed in the Western Conference. Last week I had them at 7. Then the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have won, I think it is, they've won their 7 of their last 8 games. And last week I had them at 5. At 2 of the Philadelphia 76ers, who are 10-3, and last week I had them at 1. And at 1, I have the Boston Celtics, who are 11-2, and last week I had it 3. So that is it for my NBA Power Rankings for Week 5. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Peace out.